Hi, families, and welcome back to another episode of FamFridays. Today's topic is getting involved with Campus Activities Board. I'm your host, Daniel Mahmood,
And Anna Cagle.
and let's get into the interview.
Hey everyone, I'll start. So my name is Jamar Whitfield, and I'm one of the co-advisors for the Campus Activities Board, affectionately known as CAB. And we just plan a host of events for students to engage and create memorable experiences. And I'll turn it over to my esteemed co-advisor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Carter. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm the other co-advisor and other assistant director in the Office of Student Involvement, co-advising CAB with Jamar.
Welcome. We are so excited to have you and to be able to share all of the information that needs to be known about Campus Activities Board with our families and students through our Instagram. So to jump into our interview, the first question we have for you is how can families specifically be involved with this organization?
Cool. Well, Ashley, if it's okay with you, I'll jump in and start, and then feel free to add anything else I missed. But we'd say the number one way for families to get involved is to not only encourage your student to follow us on our different social media platforms, which is CAB UNC Charlotte on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but also follow us yourselves. Is a great way. So this way, you know what's going on, and in case your student misses it, you can be like, "Hey, check this out." So that's probably like the biggest way to get involved. Of course, there'll be phenomenal experiences like Family Weekend, where we explicitly target families for more family-friendly events. But I'd say the most important piece is one, get involved through our social media platforms and engage with us, if you will. And then two, when we are able to have you all come visit us and spend time with us, definitely come on out. But that's probably the biggest way I could think of.
I agree.
Awesome. And as we know, with COVID-19, this has definitely impacted the way we can hold events. So, how has the virtual environment impacted CAB events, and are there any virtual or in person events coming up?
Sure. So COVID-19 has definitely impacted the way that we've done events. CAB has primarily focused on all in-person events. If you have seen our social media pages, we typically pack our events out with anywhere from hundreds of thousands to students coming in attendance, and COVID-19 put a stop to that. So for us, we've had to figure out how do we take our events and put them online? How do we still keep students engaged and keep our numbers strong while also doing something where we can't all necessarily be in the same room together. So for CAB, we have switched up our structure a little bit. We now do drop-in programs, which is where students can come by our office, pick up their event materials, and then we have rooms in which the students can come in the union, sit 10 people in a room, completely spaced out and properly social distance in order to be able to do an activity together. We also have what we like to call our virtual engagement. So on all of our social media platforms, you'll see sometimes we do a CAB bingo where students can screenshot the bingo, fill it out, and repost it to their own stories. And we share it on our own platforms as well. So we do bingos, we do fill in the blanks, we do share a story, we do CAB takeover days. So all of those different things to show students, you're not in the struggle by yourselves. Our CAB student leaders are also in the struggle and trying to figure out what this new normal is. And then as advisors, we pop on there too sometimes just to say hello, just to show our faces to make sure that students know that we're there. And we're working toward hopefully in the fall where we can have some more in-person programs together. But again, everything will be properly social distance, proper protocols will be followed and be in place. So we will have videos that the cabbies have pre-recorded, which show students how to have fun in person in a safe way now with these new guidelines. And then to answer your second question, a couple of upcoming events that we have a mixture. Most of them right now will be on Instagram Live, but we have a Come Sit with Cab. So that's happening on February 15th at 5 o'clock on our Instagram. And so you can come bring your favorite, warm, fuzzy drink, sit down and hear about all the fun things Cab's going to do for the semester. We do have a Cabby TV or Cabby podcast, as we like to call it, also happening on Instagram Live on the 16th at 5 p.m. We have a Jeopardy, which is the Black History Month edition. So that's happening on February 18th at 6 p.m. on IG. Are y'all catching the theme? Instagram is the place to be. Kicking it with keto. So, while everyone is at home, everyone's got a couple quarantine pounds. I know I have a few going on. I had to get back in the gym recently. But some of the students are going to do a cooking demo live. So I'll stop there. But if you check out our social media platforms, your student has access to Niner Engage. You can see all the different things that we have, and we are constantly adding events to our calendar. So as families, even though you all might not be able to log on to the Niner Engage platform, calendar.uncc.edu, I believe that's the right handle. You can see all of our events, and they're posted right there. So that's another way you can send links to your student to say, hey, you should go to this, or you should check this event out. This is happening. And that's constantly updated, typically every week to every 2 weeks.
Absolutely. And one thing I always mention to families is that they know their students better than anyone. So if they see an event that they think their student would be interested in, just tell them that it's a thing. And yeah, and you're the best resource for your student, and you're definitely someone that they feel comfortable going to. So as a family member, if you see something, tell your student, because there's a big chance that they missed it, or they weren't paying attention, or noticed that it was going on. And to move on to our next question, what is the CAB event staff program, and how can students get involved with that?
Glad you asked. But since our event staff program is essentially our volunteer program, if you will, built within CAB. And so this is kind of geared towards students who are either new to the school or they want to be a part of CAB but don't want to take on too extensive of a time commitment. And so pretty much these students work our different events, whether they're virtual and they're the hype crew and just building energy and excitement around the event, or if they're in person and so they're serving as a volunteer, as a cabbie, if you will, and greeting our guests and making sure things are in order, whether that's equipment, sanitization, all different kind of things, but just bringing that added element of energy to the different events that we host and things like that. So it's just an easy way for students to get involved and maybe not take on too demanding of a commitment, even though a lot of students who join that event staff program, they eventually become a part of our board as a program coordinator or an exec board member because they had a good experience and they want to do that on an elevated level, if you will. One of the perks is that they do get prizes, so we do reward active participation, and also we provide ongoing professional development to students as they become student leaders, if you will, and want to leave their impact at UNC Charlotte. So we definitely always hype up the event staff program because it's our extended family, but you're also getting meaningful development, and you're making those networking connections with other students who are looking to get involved and find kind of what's the best thing for them.
Absolutely. It's all about building that community and making those connections. And speaking of that, onto my personal favorite part of these interviews, let's talk about the Charlotte community. So our first question is, what advice do you have for families of undergraduate students?
Sure. So one piece of advice that we will give families is, even though your student is attending college, it's a different avenue, it's a different chapter of life, continue to make sure that your student is getting involved. So just like you might have encouraged your student throughout their K-12 experience to try new activities, figure out the things that they like and dislike, the things that they want to continue on, it's the same way in college, and especially with CAB. So COVID has impacted everything that we do, the way in which we hold our lives and how things are run, but that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities for students and for families to get involved with UNC Charlotte. So continue to foster that connection with your students. And engage with us, on all of our social media platforms, on Zoom. We do have events on Zoom that I didn't mention, but be there, show up, be your students' biggest cheerleader and advocate as they try and navigate this new and uncharted territory. The other piece of advice that we will give is, don't just encourage your student to attend our events, but actually come and get involved. So yes, it might be intimidating because there are student leaders there, there are advisors there that maybe you do not know, or that your student has, I don't know who these people are, but I think they may be important and I don't want to seem, odd or funny. Talk to us, talk to our students. The only way that they will become comfortable is to start that conversation. And so on our end, from an advisor perspective, we always encourage our cabbies to ask questions. So they'll sometimes ask a really random and funny question, and you're like, well, that has nothing to do with nothing. Exactly, because we just want to get the conversation started and hopefully open up that door. But also, too, we want our students and our families in this case to take the bait and engage with us as well. So if you see us actively tweeting or actively on, someone is on our Facebook page or on our Instagram live page answering questions, please by all means DM us a question, direct message, send a private message on Facebook. Let us know where you're at and what you're thinking. And if we're in the office, which we go back in a few weeks, drop by the office, come see us. I promise we are a very friendly and family-oriented bunch.
Absolutely. And I think to add on to that topic, you discussed involvement a little bit. And I think, especially for first year students navigating this virtual environment, I think it's even more important. So I work with a first year learning community, and I always stress that these involvement opportunities just look a little bit different. So just taking the time to go that extra step. And even though it may seem awkward to meet people over a virtual environment, it's still an opportunity that you should take advantage of. And I'm always pushing CAB events on my learning community students. So absolutely. And for our
Appreciate it.
next question, or our last question, what is one place you would recommend for families to visit in Charlotte?
I will go for underrated classic for me, and that's Frankie's Fun Park. So if you want a hybrid of options where you have like your arcade games or bowling and dinner and some low key, small scale amusement park kind of rides, I think that's a fun place. I've been to several birthdays and adult social gatherings there. So definitely consider Frankie's Fun Park as an option if you're in the area and you want to spend some quality time with your loved ones.
I'm also going to hop in here. It is Black History Month. And so the Harvey B. Gantt Center for African American Arts and Culture is another place in Charlotte that I would highly encourage families to go and visit, learn about the history of African American arts and culture. There is some specifics about North Carolina in there as well. And so if you're looking for an opportunity to get out, to be socially distant with your student, and just to do a little bit of family time and learn some information, I'd absolutely recommend that as a resource and a place for you all to go as well.
Good
Now,
night,
Go
everyone.
Niners! Stake your claim.